Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode. I hope you've had a smashing week. So I am going to be discussing the drawbacks of not going to music school. So stay tuned. So as you know, I'm a singer, have been for nearly 10 years professionally, and I have never ever gone to music school or any kind of formal music training. Now, a lot of people ask me how I managed to do so many jobs in this industry without having kind of the theoretical side of music on side. And I have to say, I've managed quite well. Now, I do lots of projects where reading score or knowing notation has been necessary for the session to happen. But I've also been in scenarios where I have not needed to read and just needed to be quick in terms of learning or picking up parts and making sure that I'm not left behind with the rest of the band moving quite fast ahead. But I want to say to people who are not musically trained that it is possible for you to have a music career. Now, it's one of those things where there are certain things that having a music education, a formal education, is going to be necessary. There's parts of the music industry that I cannot access because I don't read well enough to be able to do those kinds of jobs. Now, I could sit and cry about it, or I could go and learn how to read or learn music theory. However, I do feel that I am able to do enough of the projects that I like that don't require me to read, but also has given me the opportunity to express my skills by, picking up parts quickly or blending with other people. And this is the kind of education that I've actually picked up on the job. Growing up in a musical family, I kind of knew the musical theory by ear, and it was kind of a feeling like I felt right when parts were right, and it didn't feel quite as good when the parts weren't quite matching up or they didn't blend. And I see that as my music education, and it's absolutely just as valid as going to music school. The only difference is, in music school you learn a universal language which most people across the world will understand in the same format, which is very helpful, especially when you're short on time for rehearsals and you need to get in there quickly and the pieces are complex, and it helps to be able to read the score so that you can kind of work through the piece easily. But just as much as people know how to read, there are some people who pick up parts really quickly, who understand the composition of chords and who are able to adjust their parts accordingly. Now, my main frustration as a person who sings in the industry and someone who really likes complex music, relatively complex music, I've always found it really difficult to communicate to musicians about what I want. Now, musicians also talk in a universal language, whether that be through numbers, calling chords, or understanding the theoretical parts of music which they communicate to each other. And it's almost like a separate language. It's a music language, and I love it. It's beautiful to hear. I was talking to my brother in the studio and I was saying, it's so intelligent how this music system works. It's so flawless and very robust, and it's universal, and I think it's such a great thing to have. But when you don't understand it, it can be really difficult to communicate what you want to express musically as a singer, because you don't have the right vocabulary, the music vocabulary, and it's really frustrating. So I found myself teaching myself different parts of music theory so that I have the basic understanding about how to communicate with musicians. And musicians understand sometimes when singers are talking to you and they haven't got the music vocabulary, it's just as frustrating for them as it is for you. So understand that we're not doing it on purpose. But I also feel like, as a singer and someone who's been doing it for a very long time, that is one of the skills that I would love to learn, and that's how to read music properly, sight read and be fluent, and also to understand music theory so that I can communicate with musicians about what exactly I want to create musically and them deliver it in a way that I'm happy with. So guys, let me know if there's anything in your musical journey that's holding you back currently and what you're doing about it. I personally am starting to take piano lessons so that I can understand more music theory and also be able to communicate in a musical way. But let me know what you're up to. Hit that subscribe button below to stay up to date with the videos we post. We post every single week, and we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Snapchat, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, and we're also on Tumblr. So follow us there and let us know what you're up to. All that remains for me to say, guys, is see you next week. Bye!